Hey, it's Scott, and we're here at the Alaska EMS Symposium up in Arctic Danger. And I had the pleasure of this morning being with Bob Page. And many of you all are familiar with Bob, but either way, he's an international expert when it comes to EKGs, as well as capnography, and more recently, stethoscopy as well. And as we grab on, we just quickly wanted to touch on some quick tips when it comes to EKGs. And some things you can actually use in regards to making EKGs a little bit easier to read and a little bit more accurate as well. So, Bob, if you do something, just like you're talking about this morning, simple things for EKGs. Number one, putting the leads on the chest or the arms or the legs, wherever it might be. Okay. How do you get the darkness that actually works?
That's a good point. That's a mistake that a lot of people aren't aware of, was that the electrodes have to do two things. They have to stick and they have to conduct. Okay, to stick, you got to make sure the skin's dry. So have a washcloth or maybe a sponge in your bag that you can dry the skin off. Second, they have to conduct as well, but if they got hair on their chest or hair on their arms, you gotta mow the yard. You got to get you a surgical clipper and do that. Now, if you know those little razors they give you, those little surgical, what they call them things, I call them yard rakes. But those things there, I mean, guys, did you shave your face with that? Ladies, did you shave your legs with that? And so why are we ripping someone's chest to shreds? They quit shaving people in the hospital 20 years ago because of infection. So why are we subjecting our patients to that? This is the 21st century. We need to wake up. And so you can get a little surgical clipper that a lot of times the company will give you for free, and you just got to buy the disposable heads. Those make very short break of hair. So unless the electric can stick firmly to the skin, you're going to get artifact because it pulls away the gap that the electricity comes across. So that's one thing. The second thing, you have to prep the skin. You actually have to abrade the dead skin off someone's arm or their chest or wherever. Everybody's covered with epidermis. That's the outer layer. But it's dead skin, so it doesn't conduct electricity very well. So you need to have a device that does that. And they have this roll of Scotch tape with sandpaper on it. It's called skin prep. And that can work. But most people just go down to the supermarket and buy those little study pads, those Scotch Brite pads. They just cut these up in little strips, and they take those and just a couple of scrapes, and you're done. All you have to do is knock off the skin. So to stick and conduct, dry skin, no hair, and then knock off the dead skin so that the electrode will stick, but also have full conduction coming through. That'll take care of most of the artifact. We did research on that in our own service back in the early 90s, and we found that when you prep the skin, you have a 75% chance of first pass success on 12 without artifacts. So we're not prepping the skin on every patient every time. We're going to get artifact on the EKG. Now on a 12 lead, an artifact is a 12 lead tape. You guys, with artifact on the baseline of the EKG, it can't be read by anybody. It can't measure horizontally, it can't measure vertically. So we have to be sure if there's one thing we have to do right, is make sure we do the 12 lead right. And the third aspect of this is the leads, the actual electrodes themselves. In EMS, we use wet electrodes. They have a piece of adhesive around it, plus a little gooey part in the middle. Inside that gooey part is electrolytes. Those electrolytes what conducts the impulse from the body onto the wire to the machine. And if those electrolytes are destroyed, they can't do their job in carrying the impulse across. Most manufacturers will tell you once you open the bag, in fact, behind a warning label, do not open this bag until you're ready to use it. And if the bag's already open, don't use it. That's because you got about 24 hours once you open that bag. Because when the lighter air hits that electrode, it's going to destroy those electrolytes and you're going to get artifact. So the key thing,
Big deal. Because I worked at both ERs and EMS services that leads you to come in two different ways.
right?
You get the little individual packs that have 3 to 5 inside, or you can get the multi-pack, which has you open it up and you get 1 million of them inside of there. Especially in the ER, we would open it up, and you're exactly right. It's only good for 24 hours. Like a lot of the CO2 detectors in the old days with the colorimetric.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
After you open up the aluminum foil, it's all good for a period of time.
Right.
And it may or may not work.
And after a few breaths, then they stay the same color, stay yellow.
Kind of defeats the purpose of the t-shirt that we're in. So you mentioned though for skin prep. What about if somebody's actively trying to die, horribly diaphoretic, etc.? Any ways to get them to stick, especially if they're choking wet and trying to die?
Well, there's a couple ways. if you take and use a betadine prep, betadine sticks for about 30 seconds, so it gets you about a pinch. But they make these things called benzoin, and the benzoin is like the stickle you put on there, and what it clogs it for. When you clog the pores up, sweat can't come out, so it buys you more time. So whenever in the hospital they do the treadmill testing on them, they know they're going to sweat, so they'll spray that stuff on there, stick the electrodes. You almost have to chisel them off at the end to get them off because they stick really good. And so, but if you prep the skin, most people by drying the skin, by prepping the skin, and getting rid of the hair, you'll eliminate most of the artifacts you see on the EKG.
We've used it, like you said. We've used it for years. We have benzoin for years. And now a lot of places have new fancy benzoin, like Mastafol. Same idea, just stick it out. The only issue is we use it in big people, use it in kids on babies, they really don't like it.
No.
Because like you're saying, it's going to literally just rip off their skin, and it sticks, which is great. But if you've got a little preemie that has such an unbelievably thin layer, you're pulling off stuff that's, certainly not enough to choice.
Right, and along those lines, have you ever stuck an electrode to somebody, you stuck, but then it fell off? So you put it back on and you're sticking it off. That's because it attached to the dead skin. So the dead skin is stuck to the electrode can't stick anymore. And so there was actually a video I saw that if someone's got a hairy chest with an AEG, you burn a set of pads. You put it on there, rip it off, and pull the hair off, and put another set on behind it. I mean, what do you got to do in an emergency, all right? Take the time to like that. No, you can put them on there, rip it off, and then put the next one in. But they're dead, it doesn't hurt, right?
At that point, you think they're much worse.
Right.
Alright, so we're going to continue this in just a moment with part 2 of Bob's lessons in regards to what you actually need to know, putting EKG and EKG loops on babies.